Hello and a very warm welcome to the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, where we bring you important unstarred questions asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha earlier and the response provided by the government in a written format. I'm Kriti Mishra, and joining me is my colleague Vishal.
Well, thank you so much, Kriti. So let's take our viewers through the questions for the day. And the first question is to the Ministry of External Affairs. And this one has been asked by member Sanjay Singh, who wants to know from the government about the current status of India and UAE relationship. Also, the member wants to know whether the meeting with Sheikh Abdul bin Zayed would result in a change in the relations between the two nations.
Well, the government has given a detailed answer on India-UAE relationship. And the government says that India-UAE bilateral relations are deep-rooted in age-old trade and cultural links and nourished by people-to-people contacts. In the last 5 years, with high-intensive, high-level engagements, the relationship has been elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership. UAE is India's third-largest trading partner and fourth-largest energy supplier. UAE is the first foreign country to participate in India's strategic petroleum reserves. His Highness Sheikh Abdul bin Zayed, Foreign Minister of the UAE, paid an official visit on 7th to 9th of July 2019 to India. During the visit, he called on Prime Minister and held bilateral meeting with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar. The visit provided an opportunity to both sides to constructively build on the vision of the comprehensive strategic partnership and to broaden cooperation in various sectors of mutual interest. The government further says that India and UAE expressed interest in South-South cooperation in February 2016. An MOU for cooperation between India and the UAE for cooperation in developmental projects in Africa was signed in December 2018. Let's move on to the next question, and this one has been asked by member T. Subbarami Reddy, and this one is also to the Ministry of External Affairs. And Mr. Reddy has asked whether India has received any communication from US on the cap on H-1B visa for Indian workers.
Well, the response from the External Affairs Ministry to this question is in negative, and the ministry further says that the Government of India has closely consulted all stakeholders and engaged with the United States administration and Congress on issues related to the movement of Indian professionals, including those pertaining to H-1B program. In our engagements, we have emphasized that this has been a mutually beneficial partnership which should be nurtured. Now, Indian skilled professionals have contributed to the growth and development of the United States economy and have helped the US retain its competitive edge and the innovative advantage. They are a big stakeholder in India-US relations, and their backward linkages to India have helped US businesses. Most recently, issues of H-1B visa were raised during the visit of US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to India on 26th of June 2019. And India has conveyed its expectations to United States administration for a non-discriminatory and predictable H-1B visa regime. The next question is to the Ministry of HRD, and this one is from member K. Ravindra Kumar, who wants to know from the government whether it has identified any area or sector in higher education which is likely to be given special focus or attention after the recent survey on higher education is published.
Well, several steps have been taken by the government for special focus or attention on higher education, and these include issuing of new University Grants Commission regulation for open and distance learning that allows entry to reputed institutions to offer education on the distance mode. Using of ICT technology, study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds portal to reach out to people and allow them to secure good quality education. Opening of more centrally funded institutions. Encouraging opening of institutions by state governments through the Rashtriya Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan, which aims to achieve equality, access and excellence in higher education. The scheme supports components such as upgrading autonomous colleges to universities, clustering colleges to establish a new university, setting up of new professional colleges in unserved and underserved areas, as well as providing infrastructure grants to universities and colleges to scale up capacity. More scholarship programs to supplement the cost of education. The next question is by member Vinay P. Sahasrabudhe, and this question is to the Ministry of Human Resource Development. And he has asked the number of new composite schools from class 1st to 12th that were sanctioned during 2018-19 and the number of existing upper primary schools that were upgraded to composite schools under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan?
Well, the HRT Ministry in its answer says that during 2018-2019, under Samagra Shiksha scheme, approval was given for opening of 19 primary schools, 86 upper primary schools, 44 higher secondary schools, 24 residential schools at elementary level and 11 residential schools at secondary level. Also, approval was given for upgradation of 214 existing upper primary schools to composite secondary schools. Further approval was given for provision of additional stream of study in 851 existing higher secondary schools. During 2018-19, under Samagra Shiksha scheme, approval was given for upgradation of 1,232 Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas. Out of this, approval was given for upgradation of 729 KGBVs from class 8 to 10 and for 503 KGBVs from class 8 to 12. Under Samagra Shiksha scheme, funds are not released component-wise, but in lump sum. A total central share of 29,294.23 crore rupees was released to states and union territories for undertaking the approved activities under the Samagra Shiksha scheme during 2018-19. Now, states and union territories have reported a total expenditure of 45,284.87 crore rupees in 2018-19. Now, the expenditure is against central state share and other receipts as well. Well, the next question is by member K. Soma Prasad, and this one is to the Ministry of Law and Justice, wherein the member wants to know about the number of special courts set up throughout the country for hearing cases registered under the provisions of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act as per the amendments in the Act.
The government says that constitution of special courts for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and their functioning or monitoring falls within the domain of the state government or the union territory, who set up such courts as per their need and also resources in consultation with the High Court in accordance with Section 14 of the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Amendment Act 2015, the Gazette notification for which was published on 1st of January 2016. State governments and union territory administrations either establish exclusive special courts for one or more districts or designate for one such district where less number of cases under this Act are recorded. The Court of Session to be a special court to try offences under this Act. As per available information, many state governments and union territory administrations have designated district session courts as special courts. Moving on to the last question, and this one has been asked by member Amar Shankar Sable, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Planning. And Mr. Sable has asked about the details for selecting and the criteria for aspirational districts and the details of districts already included under the scheme.
Well, the government in its response says that currently the aspirational district program is being implemented in 112 districts. The list includes 35 districts selected by the Ministry of Home Affairs on the basis of their being affected by left-wing extremism. For the selection of the rest of the districts, they have been identified on the basis of a composite index. Now, states were requested that in case they want any replacement on the basis of objective criteria, they may suggest such modification. Accordingly, 6 states, namely Sikkim, Odisha, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan and Gujarat, suggested changes in the list, which were then accepted. At present, Niti Aayog is not conducting any socio-economic survey in these districts. Under the program, districts are being encouraged to undertake validation of development-related data so that progress made in these districts could be objectively reported. So, Kriti, these are the questions we have for our viewers in this segment.
That's right, Vishal. Prashn Kal with our colleagues Kriti Singh and Arvind Singh on the other side. Stay tuned.